So we just got back from a family vacation to Key West, Florida. And so in this week's video, we're gonna give you several things that we wish we would have known before going to Key West. Cue the intro and let's get into it.
What's up YouTube? Trevi from the Adventure Buddies, the modern travel family, bringing you another video filled with tips, tricks, and inspiration to make sure you maximize your next family adventure, like we always do here at the Adventure Buddies.
So if you're new here, I'm Matt from the Adventure Buddies, and here at the Adventure Buddies, we aim to educate and inspire by sharing unique adventures, unique locations, and sharing travel tips to make traveling less stressful and more enjoyable with you and your family. So if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that red subscribe button for more travel tips and adventures. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into things we wish we would have known when traveling to Key West. So the first thing you need to know when going to Key West is when to go. And so oftentimes a busy season for Key West is going to be during those winter months. And so those winter months, because of the weather, people are going to flock there. And so the best time to go is said to be between March and May, because that's going to be right after the crowd leaves, but it's going to be before hurricane season. So hurricane season in Key West is typically from June to November. So those are oftentimes where you're going to find better prices, but you're gonna be a little bit riskier with the hurricane season. So if you want to go to Key West and have the best time, the least amount of crowds, and probably some really good chance of great weather, go from March to May. The second thing that you need to know before going to Key West is how do you get there? So you can get there a number of different ways. And so they do have a Key West International Airport, but you're not gonna find a ton of flights or a ton of airlines going there. And so oftentimes you're not gonna get the flight schedule you want, and or you might not get the price that you wanna pay for. So the majority of people actually fly into Miami and then rent a car. The only caveat though is from Miami to Key West, it's about a 3.5-hour drive with no traffic. So you're gonna go across the iconic 7-mile bridge. And so that's usually 1 to 2 lane traffic. And so if there is traffic and you are getting caught in rush hour, that 3.5-hour drive could take a well bit longer. So speaking of the 7-mile bridge, tip number 3 of things that we wish we would have known before going to Key West is that there's actually a number of different spots along the way to get to Key West that oftentimes may be some better options than things that you'll find in Key West. So there's some good beaches. You got Sombrero Beach, you got Sunset Key, or you have Robbie's Marina. Robbie's Marina was actually a really fun spot that we were able to grab lunch right on the marina. Plus we got to hand feed tarpon. Take a look. The fourth thing that we wish we would have known or fully understood about Key West is that Key West is really small. It's actually a 2-mile by 4-mile island. And so you could probably do this in 1 to 2 days if you really wanted to do it. So we don't think that's probably warranted a whole week stay. So we were actually there for 3 days and we kind of got bored after day 2. And so that's why we will revert back to the tip on tip number 3 is that there are numerous other things you could do on the way to Key West to maximize your family adventure. So the fifth thing is probably obvious because it's a tropical paradise, it's in the US, and so it's gonna be expensive here in Key West. So anything from lodging to activities to dining. And so you're gonna typically find some lodging that's gonna range between $250 to $300 to $400 to $500 a night. And so there's not a ton of different hotel options, and so the price continues to go up. So if you are looking for an option to save money, we highly suggest you looking at the Airbnb side. We found a unique Airbnb that was able to help us slash cost significantly by staying in somebody's catamaran. So we were able to spend 3 nights in a catamaran for a fraction of the cost of a hotel just outside of Key West. So a 15-minute drive into the actual Key West area. And so this was not only a unique way to save money, but this was a unique experience to spend 3 nights on board a boat. Comment down below if you think sleeping in a catamaran for 3 nights to save a little money will be something you or your family would be interested in doing. Then moving on to number 6. And so activities here in Key West were plentiful. So you could do anything from snorkeling to great scuba diving to deep sea fishing to some museums to some downtown life to some great food to some kayaking through mangroves. And so there was a ton of things you could do. Our only caveat was one in our last tip, we said it was expensive and everything was, but maybe we're just a bit spoiled, but we felt that you could do pretty much everything you did in Key West for a fraction of the cost of it, maybe in Mexico. So we didn't feel like the experiences or adventures were all that unique, I guess, to justify the cost that they were asking for. So just something to think of when you are going to Key West. You can get all those same activities for a fraction of cost elsewhere. And then finally, the last thing that we wish we would have known, or something we want to make sure that we pass along to you, is that when you do go to Key West, it's pretty custom to get that iconic southernmost tip of the continental US picture in front of that buoy. And so we highly suggest you getting there early in the morning to do so, because one, it's a pretty basic picture. There's not a ton in the background to see other than the actual cool landmark that you see in a lot of people's Facebook or Instagram profiles. But we did that early in the morning and there's no crowd and we're in and out in a couple minutes. However, an hour later, so you're talking about 9 a.m. on, that line was around the block. And so it oftentimes took people over an hour just to take a picture with this landmark. What do you think? Is this something that you wait in line just to take a photo of? Comment down below. So there you guys have it, 7 things that we wish we would have known before going to Key West on our latest family adventure. And so if you were to ask us, would we recommend this or would we go back to Key West? Unfortunately, the answer is no. We just think there's a lot better options out there for, one, the types of activities, the amenities, and plus the travel and expenses, etc., just to get there. So it was a great opportunity just to cross that off the bucket list, but we don't envision us going back anymore. So comment down below if you disagree with this. We'd love to engage you in the comments there. So while you're at that, please make sure to give us that big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button for more travel tips and adventures. And most importantly, remember, life's an adventure. Who you going on with?